Welcome to a new devlog. Today we will work on the main menu, some new 3D assets, textures, shaders, and some coding wizardry. I bring sad news, guys. I will remove the Fire King. I know I said you will be able to play both as Ice and Fire King, but realistically, doing the skin patterns, enemies, environment assets, and all that jazz twice will take me way too long, and I am a solo developer working on this, trying to release it by sometime next year. Doing all the assets twice will waste a lot of time I could be spending on other aspects of the game, so goodbye Firefolk. This does not mean they're gone from the universe though. You will encounter some of them throughout the story. Now, back to development. We will begin by removing the options to choose the Fire King. Then reworking the character editor scene to turn into the main menu scene. We will place a panel on the center and add 3 buttons: play, options, and exit. After a solid hour of working on the main menu screen, I came up with this. I added particle effects to the buttons, and the main menu panel moves in relation to the mouse. Same with the camera's rotation, it moves slightly whenever the mouse does. On our character editor window, I added 3 new skin colors and 2 new elemental colors. I still think the character looks a bit dull, and should probably give it something like skin patterns using 2 colors or even 3, but I've put enough work on the character in the past couple of devlogs, so let's move on. Back in our level, I created a script that will enable and disable a UI game object to show tooltips, you know. Gotta explain the player how to play, right? As of now, there are only 3 tooltips and they're all movement related. I noticed the environment did not have any snow, and since this is supposed to be an icy cold area, I created a snow texture and shader. Here you can see the snow shader working. It's always on top of the objects. Now the branches of these trees look pretty boring, so I opened GIMP to improve the shading and leaves. I did not feel like programming at the moment, so I opened Blender and worked on some assets. First asset I made was a little shroom, and the other asset was a smaller version of our worm. Back in Unity, I imported a blood splash texture and gave it to our enemy death particle system. This is what it looks like now. Next, I needed to import our little worm we created earlier, and since I did not want him to spawn and be still the whole time, I made a shader that simulates movement. Now, let's do some coding wizardry. First step was going to our enemy ball script and enabling the larva whenever the enemy ball dies. That was very simple. Next step was to create a script and attach it to our larva to control its location and rotation. I was only going to rotate it on the z-axis, so I made a vector2 variable that holds the maximum and minimum rotation values. Then using a raycast aim down, we get the ground location and set the position of our larva accordingly. Before we test this, I'm going to import our mushroom we made earlier to check out what it looks like in game. Not too bad. I will work on its texturing a bit more for sure. Let's check out our little worms. You can see they all have different locations and rotations. Cool, man, I'm digging it. Last thing I did was to destroy the small worms whenever you step on them and spawn a little blood splash. And so let's see what these features look like now. There is snow everywhere now. I love it. Lots of more enemy balls around. I think I should rename them now though. Something like eggs or cocoons, I don't know, man. Definitely need to go back to our worm AI and fix some of these animation glitches. Now this is really fucking satisfying, just stepping on them and watching them pop. And that's it for this devlog, guys. I worked around 6 to 8 hours on the project this week. I hope you guys liked it. Please subscribe and I will see you next time. Bye bye.